Hi everyone, I'm Sofia Tirini. I'm a regulatory manager here at Access Partnership, and I'm here today to walk you through two groundbreaking pieces of legislation: the DSA, or Digital Service Act from the European Union, and the Online Safety Act, OSA, from the UK. These two regulations are reshaping the digital landscape, both for online platforms but also for end users. So let's break down together why these regulations are important for you and your company, what you will have to do, and where do they come from. But first, a bit of context on what triggered these regulations. Understanding what events trigger the need of regulations and the regulators to do something can help companies to better address their efforts to comply with current regulations, but also to predict future changes. Both regulations have been created in response to a growing concerns around online safety, privacy, the use of our personal data, and the immense powers of certain tech companies. But what specific situations trigger their creation? For the DSA, we can mention some high-profile scandals that took place a few years ago. We all probably remember the Cambridge Analytica scandal that took place in 2018 that revealed how our personal data could be misused for political manipulation. More recent, we also had the COVID-19, where we saw how misinformation and fake news could be easily spread around social media platforms and the danger that this represents for society. Also, concerns around radicalization and terrorist content show the need for better content moderation rules. The OSA here in the UK, which was of course affected by all these events, was also motivated by some tragic stories that took place here in the heart of the UK. There were, for example, cases of teenagers who were mentally affected by the content that they were watching online to the top of committing self-harm. But this, together with growing concerns around online bullying, harassment and abuse, together with the need to combat child sexual exploitation material that is online, were some of the events that triggered the need of this almost 7-year debate around the Online Safety Act. Having said this, I want to explore with you what this act focuses on. We know that both are quite related because they share the common goal of regulating the digital world. However, they each have distinctive characteristics as well. The DSA takes a more comprehensive approach, addressing a wide range of online user concerns, whereas the OSA displays a more specialized focus on combating higher harm illegal content. Nevertheless, we will explore this in more details in our upcoming videos. The importance of these regulations are several. However, I can highlight 4 main reasons. One is obviously the sanctions and the fines. So non-compliance with these regulations can result in significant financial sanctions for your company. Also, there is the issue of trust and safety. Adhering to these regulations shows the commitment of the companies to protect their users, and it also helps you to build reputation and trust with them. The global impact, as a third point that I want to highlight, is fundamental because today these regulations are regional or national, but we know that the influence will extend globally as companies tend to apply uniform policies across their platforms. At the same time, we expect to see these regulations being replicated in other regions, so being properly prepared for these ones will save you time in the near future as well. And finally, the last point that I want to touch upon today, that we will discuss and explore further in our next videos, is one of the obligations that will trigger these regulations, which is the transparency reporting obligations. Both acts mandate increased transparency, which can affect how companies communicate with users, but also with regulators. This will be one of the most important compliance issues to revise, and it will most probably affect all the companies, no matter which category you fall within. So respecting and following these issues is going to be highly important for your company. Today, both legislations are enforced and being applied in their respective jurisdictions. The DSA entered into force in November 2022, and although at the beginning only some companies, so the biggest or the largest one, had to comply with it, since February of this year, 2024, all companies that fall within the scope must comply with it. On the other hand, the Online Safety Act became a law in the UK last October 2023. However, the implementation and enforcement phase will take around 3 years, and it's going to be led by the Ofcom, which is the UK's communication authority or regulator. It is worth flagging that while the OSA is moving to this implementation phase, there have been recent elections here in the UK. and there is a new government in place, and this new Labour government has made some thin commitments in their party manifesto to explore further measures. So they will likely adopt a stronger pro-user approach over pro-business. Following closely and monitoring what's happening in the political context is going to be very important as well to better understand the enforcement and the application of those regulations. As you can see, both laws emphasize proportionate obligations based on platform size and impact. As these regulations roll out, they're set to dramatically reshape online safety and accountability across UK and Europe. If you want to better understand how these regulations will impact your company, what obligations are going to be triggered, or how the political landscape might affect the implementation part, follow our series of videos or contact us directly. Thank you very much for watching our video. Please like the video if you like it, follow us on our social medias, and see you next time in our next video.